Hey there, everybody. So I'm alone. It's day 3 or 4. It could be day 30. I really have no idea at this point how long I've been alone. I'm going crazy currently. So I figured I would make some content to buy some time for myself and as a real benefit to the general public. When you look this shitty and haggard and sick, you deserve to be on the internet. There's far too many pretty people out there, and I want to change the stigma around YouTube videos and people looking their finest. So I currently have very unkept hair. I'm doing the absolute bare minimum right now because I'm going nuts. I need to speak more. So there's going to be a lot of content coming out because I'm going a little bit crazy. And anybody that knows me knows that I'm a loud person. I am a hyperactive person. I am just disgustingly social. So you guys will be my conversations going forward for the time being. And I want to change up subject matter a little bit because there's been a lot of yesterday I was down, I was missing my kids and it kills me to be away from them, but it's a positive thing because obviously I don't want to get my children sick. So today what we're going to talk about is the next biggest story after COVID is that silly fuck Tom Brady. So I'm in a rough spot here emotionally about the Tom Brady thing, a very, very rough spot emotionally. You see, because there's no athlete in the history of professional sports, I believe, that I have hated to a level that I hate that arrogant douchebag. And the hardship lies in the fact that I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. And I am a diehard Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. So what do you do when somebody that you have spent 20 years hating everything about signs with your favorite team at the peak of their growth and development as a franchise, knowing that any success they have as a franchise, he will get the primary push and credit for the development? So how do I feel about the Tom Brady signing? In the last couple of days, I've had a couple people reach out to me and jab me about it because they know my feelings. So I figured I'd put out a video letting people know exactly where I stand on this. And I've got two feelings. I love the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and fuck Tom Brady. Those are my two feelings. So let's break through this situationally and positionally. So Tom Brady is old as fuck. He's coming off a season where everybody says that arm strength is declining. He is coming into an offense that's a vertical-based passing attack when he's really more of a play-action guy at this point. And Bruce Arians has been, in the bottom 5 in play-action every year for the past half-decade, pretty much, that he's coached. So will this work? Can Tom Brady run a vertical offense? The answer is no, he can't run a straight vertical offense anymore. He still has a decent arm, but it's not who he is. But for all the dumb assholes out there that think that he needs to, shake your head. Give your head a shake, please. It's silly. You're assuming that Bruce Arians only knows how to do one thing. And that's just nonsense. He's obviously going to adjust to his personnel, people. Stop overblowing this. It's not like we signed Chad Pennington, who can only throw a 4-yard slant. This is still Tom fucking Brady. And no matter how much I hate the man, he's still one of the all-time greats, not the GOAT. That's a conversation for another day. Yes, he's the winningest guy. Yes, he might be the most successful quarterback of all time. He's not the GOAT, but we won't go there today. Can he run a Bruce Arians offense? Of course he can. He's Tom fucking Brady. Does he have the weapons to put up an absolute monster season? Of course. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have the best 1-2 combination. That is not arguable. They don't get the hype of other receivers and other receiving groups because they're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But Mike Evans and Chris Godwin may be the two top receivers in the NFL today, and they do completely different things. Tom Brady has those guys parked there. What he also has is, in the Bruce Arians offense, tight ends are not overly used, but this is where that adjustment comes in that Arians is going to have to make, because Brady obviously loves those short route guys. He loves those physical receivers, those inside guys, and tight ends are a big piece of that. So when you've got O.J. Howard and you've got Cameron Brate also, do you think Tom Brady's going to enjoy having those two guys, or do you think they're not going to be used? Because they're two of the better receiving tight ends in football right now. They're not that true elite class, and I won't say they were. Howard has the athletic ability to jump up there, but there seems to be focus concentration issues there that really get the best of him sometimes. But the skill sets, those red zone weapons, you look at when you say that Godwin's the small guy in that group, Brady's going to have the opportunity in red zone situations, deep ball situations, to throw it up to three guys, 6'5", 6'6", with athletic ability and great hands. That's terrifying. That should be terrifying for defenses. Right now, a lot of people are saying that the Bucs need to go get a true number one back. Brady's pretty much ran running back by committee for several years, different guys for different days. And, Arians kind of did the same thing last year between Peyton Barber and Rojo. I was never a Peyton Barber guy. Anybody that knows me knows I was pushing hard for Ronald Jones to get the bulk of the work. And in the last few weeks of the season, you saw exactly what he was capable of as more of a two-thirds back. You know what I mean? He's not an every down back yet because he can't block. He just blows too many coverages. And with a guy like Brady, Winston was elusive and he had athletic ability. He could get outside the pocket a little bit and had more escapability and yardage gain potential. So if a block was missed, he had the athletic prowess to avoid some of that. Tom Brady's slow as shit. I'm pretty sure at this point I can outrun Tom Brady. I'm pretty sure I've always been able to outrun Tom Brady, and I am a 6'4", 300-pound man with a broken neck. The thing that Brady has, though, that I'll give him a lot of respect for, it's the vision, it's the presence. He does not move well, but he's slippery in the pocket. It's a slight shift here, 1 yard there, turn a shoulder here. He does a great job of moving in the inner workings of a line, as long as the core of that line, that Marpet, Jansen, Kappa area, doesn't compress back on him too much, because he can't escape out the backside with regularity, but he can escape up through the center of the pocket if those guys hold strong. And I'm very confident about Jansen and Marpet. We'll see what Kappa develops into. Obviously, he was a project coming in with a lot of talent. I see a lot there. On the tackle spots, it's a little more confusing because Donovan Smith is what he is. There's a very good opportunity with picking 14 that the Bucs might get one of the big four tackles. We'll see if that's a possibility or not. Wirfs, Thomas, Becton, maybe Thomas ends up there. Wills is going to be gone early. He's the one for sure that won't slide, but maybe a guy like Thomas will slide. If that doesn't happen, I imagine that the Bucs end up with Kinlaw to put at the D tackle spot, put him next to Vita Vea. The amount of pocket penetration they can get to collapse that line and support the fact that Jason Pierre-Paul and Shaq Barrett is still on the outsides. Anthony Nelson has potential to do a lot more. See if they can pick up anything else. You've got two of the most dynamic linebackers in football pairing together there in the middle of the defense. High-end intelligence, high-end athleticism, and the ability to drop into coverage, blitz the quarterback, tackle sideline to sideline. The Buccaneers are set up so well on the front end of their defense. There's a lot of questions about the secondary. I don't share as many questions as some other people. I think Jamel Dean, I loved him as a draft prospect. I think he's the real deal. When you mix that size and that top-end speed together, that's just something else. Murphy Bunting, same thing, freakish athletic ability. But you know what? He actually has better overall ball skills and sense than I thought he did. I thought he was going to be a big-time, long-term project. I didn't actually love the pick when it happened, and then getting to watch him more and more, especially the second half of the season, you saw what they saw in him. And those two guys, really high-end. Carlton Davis, they say he's the best cover corner on the team. I don't know about that, but the range, the length, the athletic ability, the overall strength and press coverage, Carlton Davis can do a lot of things. So those three together, plus whatever they add, because let's just be real, they're going to add another corner, and they still got some guys, but I don't think Ryan Smith is an answer for anything beyond special teams. Then you get to that safety group. Jordan Whitehead played his ass off last year, but he's really more that third guy if everybody's in there. Mike Edwards has the potential to be a great guy in that role, but there's questions, about the ball skills and different things. I don't necessarily share all of them. He has some brain dead coverages occasionally that are a little startling. And then the biggest question mark. So right now the safety group looks like the weak spot on the defense. And I don't think that's going to get repaired with adding one guy. The front end of the defense is so dynamic. I think Vita Vea might be one of the most underappreciated players in the NFL right now. If Justin Evans comes back and is healthy, and that's a massive if, because Justin Evans has essentially never been healthy since he's been unhealthy. Him, Edwards, Whitehead is a really good trio in the safety room. So we'll see what happens with Justin Evans, or if maybe they're looking to add. I could see them, adding a first-round safety as well with where they are. If, Kinlaw gets picked earlier, because I think they do have a love on for Kinlaw. I wouldn't be going with another edge rusher. I know a lot of people are pushing that direction. I love LSU. I've got roots there. It's not the direction I'd be going. So if Kinlaw's gone, the four big tackles are gone. I could see them going safety. There's a few safeties that are in that area of the board that could be really, really interesting to them. But, at this point, it's just about adding talent. I'm really hoping that in those mid rounds, Antonio Gibson's a guy that I love. Bruce Arians loves weapons, and he is a positionless guy. Is he running back? Is he a wide out? Who knows? What he is explosive. And he's one of those guys that can be a game changer on offense. He's not an every down player at this point, but when you have Godwin and Evans and these guys, and, now there's the rumors about the Buccaneers signing Melvin Gordon, which I don't love personally. I see why, and they have the money to spend, but it's not something I would do. But Gibson's one of those guys that he could come in as a mid-round guy and make big chunk plays when he's on the field. And that's a huge asset, because, injuries do happen, and having those depth guys that can step in, you saw the value of a guy like Brashad Perriman last year, who, again, before last year, I was not sold on Perriman. I think it's because I liked him at the draft, and he never became what I thought he was going to, so I'm scorned. I'm like an ex-boyfriend, but I think that there's so much talent there, that this team has so much talent from starting units. The overall depth, there's a lot of question marks due to youth, but overall starting values, they have two really strong units. I even think Matt Gay as a kicker, he had two real rough games last year. Beyond that, the kid looks good. Can he avoid those complete meltdown games? We'll see. Kicking is obviously, for Bucs fans, a little bit of a sore area for us for, 20 years or so. Do we have questions on the punting side? Yes. And people really undervalue how important that is to a team. But the thing that makes me more excited, like Godwin's and Evans and this offense, of course, going to score points. It doesn't matter if I was the quarterback, they'd still score a couple points. Obviously I'm being facetious, but, this defense was put into so many bad spots because of Jameis Winston just consistently turning the ball over all the time. They started from their average starting distance to their 39 on interceptions. So it's not like Winston was throwing them late. He was throwing them early, and he was throwing them in bad spots to gain yardage. This defense was starting at the 39-yard line. That is deep field goal range when you get the ball. A guy like Brady, yeah, he's not going to have the splash plays maybe that Winston will. But, man, he's going to control the ball. He's going to move it downfield. He's going to chew time off the clock. You're going to see large banks of receptions and chunk runs because of that fear off of what he can do. Those in-between guys, like I said, Chris Godwin could have an absolutely disgusting year because how he plays in the slot. And how jack of all trades he is. He seems like the ideal guy, a guy that Tom Brady will absolutely love. With this defense not having to start from their 39, twice a game, there's a potential that this defense is elite. You look at that front group of Shaq Barrett, who I do think is the legitimate. I think the changes that he made from 2 years ago to last year were noticeable, and they were technique based. I think he figured something out with physicality. Jason Pierre-Paul, he is a proven commodity at this point. Vita Vea on that front end, whether Ndamukong Suh is back or not. This was the number 1 or number 2 run defense in the NFL last year, and Vea was the biggest part of that because he is so disruptive. He's not going to put up the huge sack totals, but you watch how the pocket collapses during double teams on this guy. It's absurd. His strength, size, mobility combination is off the charts. Haloti Ngata was the comp coming out of college, and I kind of scoffed at it a little bit. I didn't see that on the tapes that I watched, but him in the pros, I see it now. He's so disruptive, and then White and Levante David, and this group is devastating up front. The amount of blitz play. Obviously, they have a defensive coordinator that wants to play fast and wants to play aggressive, and that feeds in. And then you got those cover guys that are long and rangy and athletic that have some ball skills. The defense can be scary. And if they're not starting at the 39 twice, 3 times a game, it could be a devastating defense. So the downside is Tom Brady will get all the damn credit for the leaps that this team makes, when in reality, if it was Jameis Winston or Andy Dalton or Derek Carr or Nick Foles or whoever was going to be the starting quarterback of this team, they were going to make those jumps. But having the leadership and the maturity and the overall accuracy of Tom Brady with this group, you could see the maturity of the group jump through the roof. So do I like the signing? Yes, I do. And that kills me to say it because fuck Tom Brady. But go Bucks. That's all it is. I don't care what anybody says. People say I'm biased. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be playing in the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay this season. Mark that shit down. Come at me again if you want to. Until then, I'll be putting up more and more content every day. None of this shit's going to make sense. It's just going to be, I'm mentally ill. Whatever I want to talk about, I'm going to talk about. If you have requests, I've had a couple people ask me if I could give grooming habits for my delicious beard, which I thought was a little bit weird that dudes were asking me that, but hey, I digress. Let me know anything that you want me to talk about. If you want me to go on a fucking rant about teacher strikes, if you want me to go about sports, whatever it is, you let me know. We'll hammer that out. I'll throw up a video. Let's get a fucking conversation going. But until then, have a great day and we'll talk later.